Years earlier, when Chach was 2, he'd wandered out of the kitchen and fallen into the pool. By the time the gardener found him and got him breathing again, he was blue and brain damaged. He'd lived, though, and was good at cutting hair. Dad says he gave free trims to all the workers at the oil company my great-great-grandfather founded, right up until the day he died. That was in 1959. The only things living in the back house since then have been holiday decorations, old furniture, Uncle Chach's Victrola, and termites. Then, last Christmas, Mom decided that even though there are 3 unused bedrooms in the main house, we needed a guest cottage, too. Dad fought her on it. I think because he's a nice, liberal, white guy weirded out by the idea that the back house was built for black servants. If it had been up to him, he would have let it rot. Mom was not okay with that. Her great-grandfather had been the son of a maid, raised in the back house of a mansion 2 blocks over. He'd gone on to graduate first in his class from Morehouse College and become one of Tulsa's best-known black attorneys. Mom went to law school to carry on the family legal tradition and ended up owning a back house. For her, it mattered. I won't stand by and let a perfectly good building crumble to dust, she'd argued. There'd been some closed-door negotiations between her and Dad after that, then a few days where they didn't talk to each other at all. In the end, Dad started referring to the back house as his man cave, and while he shopped for gaming systems and a pool table, Mom interviewed contractors. That was 6 months ago. The renovations started in May. I lay there listening to the workmen saw, figuring I had maybe 3 minutes before our grumpy neighbor, Mr. Metsadakis, started banging on the front door to complain about the noise. Only he didn't have to. The saw stopped on its own. The gate creaked open. Equipment clunked against the trunk bed, and the men talked so fast and low that I could only catch 4 words. Huesos viejos, policía, asesinato. Which, yes, I understood. Thank you, Señora Markowitz, and 3 años de español. And which, yes, was enough to get me out of bed and over to the window in time to see their truck back out onto the street and drive away. Something strange was going on, and I wanted to know what. So I snagged a pair of flip-flops and headed for the back house. It was a disaster inside. A week before, the workmen had demolished the ceiling and pulled all the toxic asbestos insulation. After that, they'd hacked out big chunks of termite-tunneled plaster from the walls and ripped the old Formica countertops off the cabinets. A gritty layer of construction dust coated everything, including Uncle Chach's old Victrola in the corner. At least they covered it with plastic, I thought, stepping around boxes of tile and grout on my way to the fresh-cut hole in the floor at the back of the room. Only once I got there, I forgot about the Victrola completely and understood exactly what had sent the workmen running. Huesos viejos, policía, asesinato. Old bones. Police. Murder.
William. I wasn't good when the trouble started. Wasn't particularly bad either, but I had potential. See, Tulsa in 1921 was a town where boys like me roamed wild. Prohibition made Choctaw beer and corn whiskey more tempting than ever, and booze wasn't near the worst vice available. My friend Cletus Hayes grew up in a house 2 doors down from mine. His father was a bank executive muckety-muck with a brand-new Cadillac automobile and friends on the city council. For that reason alone, Mama and Pop generally let Cleet's knack for mischief slide. He and I got along fine 80% of the time and kept each other's company accordingly. One thing we always did agree on was that misbehaving was best done in pairs. Plenty of the roustabout gangs running Tulsa's streets would have taken us in. But I always figured the 2 of us were spoiled enough and maybe even smart enough to know the difference between hell-raising and causing real harm. Those gangs were chock full of unemployed young men back from the Great War who'd come to Oklahoma looking for oil field work down at the Glenpool strike. They'd seen bad things, done a few themselves, and liked showing off for locals. Problem was, the locals would try to one-up them. The roustabouts would take things a step further, and in the end, someone always...